We got some old films, new films, any kind of shitty films recorded Tuesday night, so it's there in the morning. Least is a shaky ship, surprised he made it through the week, and then he turns his head and finds that Darren is snoring. Jim's on the other line, euphemisms all the time, while Mr. Rouse sits around sticking his claws in. Elton's got a heebie-jeebie spinning how he's doing wheelies. Winston's looking sheepish like he pissed on the floor again. All we want is a coronary impression. It's not narcolepsy if it's 1 in the morning.
Hello and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast, episode number 355.
Schlong.
It's a schlong way to Tipperary.
It's a schlong way to his tip. Anyway.
Harari. Right, anyway, hello everybody. God almighty.
Who's Rary?
Who's Rary? I don't know. I'm raring. No, stop it, no. Right, anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 355. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week we shall be having a little bit of chat, see how everyone's week's been. And then we shall move on to this week's Patreon film. One of the last of the Patreon films. We've got about 4 or 5 more to go, but the doors have closed on any further Patreon ones, but we'll explain that later. And it is Sarah Lazelle's pick this week. And she has done pick Magic Mike.
Yep.
A film.
So she's to blame then?
Yes, Lucky Minty. And she has sent in feedback, written feedback, so we will have that as part of the Patreon deal, was to pick a film, and you get the feedback, and you get clear blue sky between your feedback and everyone else's. You get special preference. And so, yes, so we will be, we're going to be reviewing this film. One that I think it's safe to say we probably wouldn't have done.
Yeah, I can't see it being at the top of my list of films to have actually
picked.
Want to experience.
Well, there you go. So, learning experience for us all.
It certainly is.
But before we...
Magic monocle.
Magic monocle. There you go. I'll have to dig up and...
Have we got to do the... I'll tell you what, after watching this, the expectation for the shindig this year is going to be... The new bar is going to be set very high for us.
Well, for you three... Nothing to do with me.
Or are you going to be the Matthew McConaughey bit?
I'm just going to come in there and I'm just going to move it and groove it and I'm going to bring the pow. Anyway, well, like I say, I think if the Facebook banners got anything to do with it, I think you three have got to start working out. That's what I've got to say.
Yeah, we're going to have to do some star jumps, aren't we?
Star jumps. That's the get.
Well, might have a few star bars.
Am I going to have to lay off the chocolate digestives?
That lay off, yes.
Yeah, lay off.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to need to work out. I'll be the fat fucker down the front, but
Are you DJ?
Yeah, I'm
Spinny Wheel or whatever the hell he was called.
DJ Easy E or something. I don't know. Easy. Well, he was Easy E, wasn't he? Because he had the old ecstasy.
I remember him when he was knee high. He still is knee high, motherfucker.
Anyway, right. So let's get going. Just on the Patreon thing. Just to do this before we get into our week. What I have done is I have stopped any more $30 mark, and I have stopped the $50 mark rewards. This was basically because it rapidly became clear that anyone putting money into a $30 thing to give us to pick a film, basically they were picking the film and then leaving it on the $30 mark and then potentially not getting another film for anywhere between 3 to 5 months, depending on how many people came in. So I just thought, probably not fair, because you'll end up sort of paying $30 a month, and by the time it gets around to your turn, it's like, I don't know, anywhere between $90 and $150, depending on how many people got on the list. So I just figured it's probably best for everyone that I don't annoy anyone, because that's the whole thing. Patreon needs to be kind of one of those open things. You need to just say, look, this is how it is. And to be quite honest, I'd much rather if people don't have, people just pay us for what they can, to give us, just chuck in what you can to keep everything afloat, rather than get all like, I've paid $30 for the last 7 months and I've only just chosen one bloody film. I didn't want to start any of that stuff, so I just figured that was the end of that. We'll stop that, and if we can rethink another way of doing it fairly, then I'll bring it back. Go on. Yep. You were going to say?
I was going to say, and you'll also find that the films are a lot cheaper on Amazon. So, there's no way I would have paid 90 quid for Magic Mike. Not at all.
Well, as it turns out, no.
Not unless I get a personal lap dance. But there you go.
What, from Channing Tatum?
Yeah, from Channing Tatum. Yeah.
Well, that's got to be worth...
a few quid in his knickers.
That's got to be worth at least $90.
Oh, hasn't it? There you go.
Well, there you go, see? So, Sarah...
Any news on the new G.I. Joe movie, or was he at a loose end?
I didn't see his loose end. I thought that was tastefully covered up.
Perilously close a few times.
Mr. Happy...
And it wasn't in 3D. Bloody hell.
Good Lord, don't even go there.
Anyway, right, well, before we get on to that, that's the parish notices out of the way. Well, apart from the Avengers one, but by the time you hear this, a lot of you will have seen it, so it won't matter too much. But obviously, goes without saying, on the Facebook group, on the Twitter, just lay off the spoilers. Give it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just give it 2 weeks. See if you can do that. That's just my request out there to you, because otherwise it's going to get grumpy quickly, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's the other parish notice. So, there you go, with the little bits out of the way. Let's get on with how everyone's week's been. And so we'll start with you, Jim. How was your week, sir?
Fairly quiet.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it actually was nice to actually have some approaching spring/summer. Dare I be optimistic? So I'm actually finally got out and managed to sort out the front garden and weed the damn thing, because it wasn't sodding wet.
Nice.
Of course, it started raining again today, so that's probably the gardening over with for this year. Let's be realistic.
That was spring. Enjoyed it?
That was it. Yeah, it was good. And summer as well. That was thoroughly nice.
We've skipped straight to autumn.
Yep, pretty much. It still feels that way tonight.
Cool. Okay. Fine. Okay. Cool.
Other than that, I mean, not done much. And I've been doing a lot, but it's all related to the ongoing barking dog problem, which has resurfaced, and I can't really talk too much because I'm gonna cart.
Oh, okay, right, fine. We shall say no more. But just do me a favour. At least once, stand up and go, "Objection, Your Honour." Just because
I expect I might be doing that a lot, actually.
Oh, right, okay, fair.
But yes.
Oh God.
Do you need someone to represent you?
It's I'm just actually a witness in the case.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, you see.
Okay, fair enough. I thought he was taking you to court.
No, that's what he thinks, because he's a fucking dickhead. He doesn't realise he's taking the council to court.
What a knob.
But you'll find that out tomorrow at the hearing, so there you go.
Nice. Lovely.
I'm pressing for the full 20 grand fine for this shit.
Nice.
So there you go.
Oh, well, we'll look forward to further updates in coming weeks, but we shall not press you on it any further, I don't think.
Just moral of the story, don't piss off a man who works in audio and visual, because he can gather an awful lot of evidence against you.
Here's a 72-hour playback of your dog barking.
Yep.
Cool. Okie dokie. Well, all right then. We'll skip lightly over that then, and we'll move on to you then, Elton. We'll come back to Jim's legal woes and in a future episode, I suspect.
Cool.
Go on in. How's your week been, mate?
It's been good. Been very good. We went we went as a family to Skegness. It's my very first trip up there to the Butlins that they have up there. And this was for a football tournament that my boy was playing at.
Right.
And last year we went down to Bognor, and they all really, really enjoyed themselves. We had a marvellous time down there. And I think the idea was to have exactly the same marvellous time this time round. Mm-hmm. Now, the kids, they all did have a really good time.
Yeah.
But they forgot one thing. They're there to play football. And it
Right.
kind of, that was the last thing on their mind. All the arcades was there, all the swimming was there, the pizzas were there, all the fun was there, all the friends that they could make were there. But they forgot to play football.
So, do you actually have an archery team now rather than a football team?
Professional
No,
esports.
We still do have a football team. They remembered what they were there for on the second day, but by then they were well and truly out, and I think they'd only won one game by the end of it, which was a bit disappointing. But the second day was mildly better than the first day.
Right.
So they redeemed themselves, and in between bits of football, we had lots and lots of beverages to drink. So it was quite a heavy weekend, and we came back Monday, moved back by Monday afternoon.
Oh,
So
blimey.
it was a good, nice. I wouldn't say relaxing break because it wasn't at all. There was lots of walking involved, but yeah, it's kind of good going on a Beano. I kind of like that.
Okay, cool. So you didn't even really give a shit about the football either, is what you're basically saying.
No, there's a lot of passion there. There's none of
For
this.
what?
Go-karting. Bumper cars.
Walking down by the surf.
Yeah, exactly.
Craft work.
No, there's a lot of
Basket
passion
making.
there, but there's none of this dads shouting on and stuff like that. You know, we've all got past all that sort of nonsense. So it's all okay. They haven't turned up this time, or they do turn up. You're like, wow, where did that come from? It's brilliant. But yeah, we all had 1 or 2 beers while we were there, which was cool. And while I was there, I had my very first vision of the future. And this involved a man taking a telephone call on his watch.
What,
And
like
this-
Michael Knight?
Or Dick Tracy.
Well, okay, right. The future suggests that it will be like Dick Tracy, where you'll turn your arm and look at the watch face, and little lines will come out of it as someone was speaking. And
Right.
It's nothing like that at all. What it is you're in a crowded bar, people are shouting right next to you, and someone's holding their watch up as if they're trying to listen to it tick, and then talking into it, and then holding it up to their ear as if it's trying to see if it's ticking again. And this is a electrical Apple Watch, so you know, that is well outdated.
Nice.
But yeah, that is the most uncomfortable thing. And if you've got it, so I wear my watch on my left hand, arm, wrist, whatever. So I would, in theory, the most comfortable way to do this would be to put it up to my right ear.
Right.
But no, they don't. They put it up to their left ear and kind of look like a demented chicken. So yeah, the future's not good, guys.
No.
It's not good. Don't take a phone call on your watch.
No, but I have seen I have seen on firebox.com, I don't know if you've seen this, the gloves that you can plug in, or Bluetooth gloves that connect to these things. And
Where
what
you have your little pinky as microphone.
Is the microphone to pick you up, and then your thumb is actually the speaker. So as long as you do like a phone sign, and you're actually on the phone with your finger.
I'm down with that. That sounds cool.
No, it doesn't. You look like an absolute knob.
No, that sounds cool. Because in 20 years' time, they'll be embedded in your finger and thumb. And that is the way to make a phone call.
Why would it be embedded in your finger and thumb? Why can't you just have a holographic TV spring out of your wrist?
Yeah. 34 inch.
Cool as well.
Yeah, 34 inch. Hello, I'm FaceTiming you.
Oh, well, right, but how else? You wait till you go home and ring somebody.
Yeah. Or you
It's like,
could do that.
fuck off, I'm getting pissed at a football I'm at, you cunt. Fuck off. How about that?
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on mobile telephony.
I'll tell you what, you the 32 inch one, you really don't want that going off while you got your hands in your pockets, you know.
He's got a hole in his pocket. No. Yeah. Or going off in the cinema. You can imagine that sitting next to someone and this 32-inch screen just pops up in front of you. Fuck off.
Hold on, I'm just going to get my wallet out.
Yeah. Right. Anyway,
I'll tell you what. The future is a whole room of people sounding like they're hard of hearing, especially with one of those watches, because the speakers can't be too good, can they?
No.
Even when you're not in a bar. No. All it's going to be is it goes off and you'll just hear people go, hey, what? I can't hear you.
What?
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, it's terrible.
Especially if they're in a pub as well, so all you can hear is, and then every now and again the speaker will just pop out, so it goes. So anyway, I gather you're not impressed.
No, not impressed at all. I did see one movie though.
Okay, go on in.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with Dennis Hopper.
Oh my god! What? Why?
I
Was that a
don't
bottling?
actually know why. it was on Netflix, and I thought, I've seen the first one. How bad can the second one be?
Oh man, you don't see that advertised, do you? A Texas Chainsaw Weekend at Butlin. Jim, you've just conjured magical images in my head.
Hey, they've got to do something in the off season.
And also, appearing alongside Jason Voorhees, or whichever one it was, is the Brotherhood of Man.
Yeah, and just straight from his stint at Scarborough, it's Jim Davidson.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And next on centre stage, the Teletubbies.
And Leatherface. Right. So what did you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
Oh man, it's a slight departure from the first.
In which way?
In which way?
Yeah.
Kind of the wrong way.
Oh.
There's almost comedy. No, there is blatant comedy in there.
So it smelt like the number in the title, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Oh.
Well, the thing was, Toby was being pestered to do a sequel, and he was like, no. I've done the first one, that's it. And they kept just hassling him. So he said, right, you want a sequel? I'll make a sequel. And he made it as a black comedy and took the piss.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be that. To be quite honest, that's definitely got to be the way to do it, isn't it? I mean, you can't just go and then they killed some more people, because it's like, really, is that it? Can we try something different?
Well, unfortunately, other people did that with all the rest of the sequels.
Oh dear.
How many are there in total?
62.
About 6 now.
Because there's reboots and remakes as well, aren't there?
Yeah, I think there's 2 lots. There was the Marcus Nispel remake for Platinum Dunes, which was pretty good, and that was followed by 2 forgettable sequels. But then they sort of rebooted it again, sort of. As Texas Chainsaw 3D, which apparently was ghastly, and there's been another shat out after that as well.
Hold on, I'm looking here. Here we go. You got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then you got Texas Chainsaw 3D. Then the remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then you've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
That links in with this week's film as well, because it has Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey in it.
Oh, good lord!
Imagine them two.
Yeah, that's.
I kind of need to see that now.
It's awful. It's really bad.
Yeah, I'd listen to Jim on this one, to be honest.
It's worth seeing though, just to see famous people disgracing themselves in a shoddy movie.
Yeah, yeah.
The Viggo Mortensen's in the third one.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. Obviously, money was a bit tight that day.
Well, it was before Rings and everything, so it was one of his first roles.
Good Lord. Surprising he got any work. Cool. Okay. And anything else, Elton?
No, that'll do it for now.
Okay, fair enough. Well, in which case, we'll move on to Mr. Barnard.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
It feels almost like only 24 hours ago we were in a pub getting drunk.
I know, it does, doesn't it?
It does.
Because I think that's because we were. Much needed alcoholic medication was being applied last night after the shock to the senses.
Yep, say no more. Say no more.
I'm not going to go any further than that.
No.
But fortunately, my whole week has not been at that kind of low level. To begin with, I'm impressed with Snappy Snaps, the photography shop Snappy Snaps.
Right.
I need to get my passport sorted out. So what I did was I need to get a digital copy. Someone to do a digital copy of my photo and give it to me and stuff. And Snappy Snaps does this service for passports. So I went in there. And the guy showed me to the chair, and he's taking a picture of me. And I've got to admit, I didn't realise my resting face actually looks so angry.
You do have resting bitch face.
I've got resting angry face, or resting git face, more like. That's what it is.
No one's arguing here.
Exactly.
You noticed that.
But this is what I was impressed with, right? He took the photograph, and instead of just giving me it like a...
He didn't take your soul.
Disc, no, he put it through a machine. He actually talked to the government. And the government said, yeah, that picture's all right.
Did it?
Yeah. I think it's a post-Brexit thing. So I think we're all supposed to look a little bit angry, for post-Brexit.
So did it look for any sort of notable racial differences? And then it's like if you sort of even look slightly the wrong tone, it sort of went, right, you're off.
Yeah, I just look like a pasty-face old English fucker. That's apparently that's what came up.
Pasty-face old English fucker.
As long as it says pasty-face old English fucker, then you pass. Apparently.
Along with your greying Reed Richards sideburns, I noticed now, mate.
Yeah, it's because I'm well past. I'm well out. The haircut's well out of date. It needs to be attended to forthwith.
With a big biro.
With something, preferably a hover mower or some shears. One of the two. I need to get this fucker mowed back.
Okay.
So going to be remedying that this week.
Yeah, because you have a bit of the Dickie Davis going on, mate.
Well, I always the way I know I need a haircut is I've got a picture of Neil Diamond indoors, and if I look like that picture of Neil Diamond, then I know I need a haircut.
Right.
I've got a template as well. I move it over my head, and if my head fits the exact template, then I need to go.
Your hair must be this wide to qualify for a haircut.
Exactly. That's it. Yes. If you could see waves up the side of my head, then yeah, I know I need to go get a haircut.
Gravitational wave detector in your hair.
Yeah.
That's why Neil Diamond still looks so young, because you've got his portrait and you're doing the aging for him.
I am, yes. He is. It's that whole Dorian Gray thing.
We need to do this as a short film.
Yeah, Neil Diamond is actually 2,000 years old. So it's passed on from generation to generation. This photograph. I'm apparently now that I've got this now. My family is cursed to carry this picture around.
Yeah,
one of our members always gets it
until you look like Gollum with nice hair.
Exactly.
Right.
So an impressive sort of like back catalogue of songs as well.
Nice.
So we do get that in exchange for our youth. We do get the sort of like a fine crooning voice to go with it as well. So
okay,
yeah, there you go. Trade up.
Yeah.
But moving on swiftly from that. I don't think I mentioned this last week, but I did come to the end of Lost in Space.
So did I, actually.
Yes, very much enjoyed that as a setup for wherever it's going to go next, where, the other seasons after this, I think it was a really good start. And it does get you all set up. Season 2, right, okay, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
The real adventure begins now.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, but also kind of like, oh, So now they're lost in space. 5 minutes ago, they weren't.
Well, they
Last 10
kind of
episodes, they haven't been.
are at the beginning because they don't know exactly. You know, they don't know where they are. None of them do.
Episodes 1 to 9 is motorway lay-by in space.
Yeah, with just a pinch of Lost in there, with the flashbacks and the same font on the title of the show.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, episodes 1 to 9, the Happy Eater in space.
I'm glad to
Little
say
Chef
though,
in space.
Little Chef in space. But I'm glad to see that the idiot that used to write Lost isn't anywhere near this. Anyway, what's his name?
Damon Lindelof.
Do you know what I was going to say? Michael Dudikoff. I don't know why I was going to say that.
Might as well be.
American Ninja wrote
Might
this.
as well be.
Yeah, exactly. He knows tons about combating, but he knows fuck all about writing a good story.
Yeah.
You know, characters and stuff like this. Dudikoff. You can just Dudikoff. That's what you can do.
You can just do this and cough.
Yeah, do this and cough. So, yeah, very much enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to season 2 whenever it is they decide to get that off the ground. And so, was looking for something to just watch, something nice and straightforward, and I came across a show called Crazy Heads, which is a 6-part series that I think, it's in conjunction with Channel 4, and
yes.
I can't remember who else the other company is, but it's all about a young lady who's just come off of her meds. The doctor's dialing down her medication.
Yes.
And because she keeps having these hallucinations. Or she did have. Anyway, they dial back her medication. She goes out drinking with her friends. And
excuse me.
While she's in a nightclub, this other young lady called Raquel is being chased across the nightclub, and as she barges past Amy, who's the sort of like the main protagonist of the show. Well, actually, they both are.
Yeah.
Amy looks up at the guy that's pursuing Raquel, and his face changes right there before her eyes, and it looks like how can I say? It looks like a bit like a zombie that's got fire going on inside it. So it looks like it's burning from the inside out.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. It's actually a pretty good effect, you know, for what it is. And she discovers that there are indeed demons within society, and her and Raquel are the only two people that can actually see these manifestations.
Right.
So, and they don't always look like demons. I think I'm trying to work this out. I think it's got something to do with them. Maybe what they're actually about to do. If they're about to do bad, then it shines through more and they can see it more. But I like it. It's very much an English show. It's very awkward in places.
Right.
So yeah, I like the way it's written. I like the two main characters in it. Raquel, I think, is my favourite one though. But yeah, give it a go. It's only 6 episodes.
And that's on Netflix, yeah?
That's on Netflix, yep. And like I said, it's called Crazy Heads.
Okay. Cool. Do they take care of anything? I mean, do they actually take care of these creatures?
Oh,
or do they?
Yeah, they do. But it's kind of like they rely on things like Google to try and figure some shit out, like exorcisms and stuff like this.
Oh, right,
and
okay.
It kind of doesn't go according to plan.
Oh, right.
And some of the stuff that they actually discover for some of these exorcisms is like, what? You want me to do what? So, yeah, it is a funny show. I mean, there's some bits, some serious bits in it, but it's a made for teens type show, although some of it is a bit near the knuckle with some of the stuff they talk about. But yeah,
well, it's Channel 4.
Exactly.
So
indeed. So, you know, nothing too offensive in there, but yeah, I like it. I'm onto the 3rd episode now, so I'm going to be finishing that off.
Cool.
This week.
Lovely. Anything else, sir?
Apart from on the video game front, a game called The Last Station, which is a nice 8-bit 2D side-scrolly game where you play the driver of a train whose basically society is... There's something going on that's not quite right. The army is slowly making their way into society and sort of like making their presence a bit more known. Communications are being lost with various different cities and stuff like this. And yeah, shit is just basically going down, and you get given the mission to pick up as many stragglers and survivors from various zones as you can. Now, very much like Final Fantasy VII, with its what would normally see off, straight off the bat, you think, oh, that looks like a cutesy game, but what it lacks in sort of like very high definition graphics, it more than makes up for in atmosphere.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So as I'm playing the game, I'm getting more. It's
getting a bit tense.
Yeah, you can see every station you stop at, there's less and less people around, and less and less civilians and more military. And they're quite sinister themselves, the way they sort of like, they're throwing their weight around more and more the more you get into the game and stuff. So it's still uncovering what is going on. So it's drip feeding you.
So yeah,
bits and bobs.
Cool. And what's that, like a puzzle game then, is it?
Yeah, you've got, with the train, you pick up survivors, you've got to take care of them and make sure they're all fed and that they're healthy. Plus, you've also got to make sure that the train itself keeps running. And there's like various issues like the power. You've got to keep the power level on it.
Just got to keep it running.
Yeah, and you've got to craft stuff as well, like ammo and medipacks and stuff like this. So there's a little bit of a juggling act going on, but there's also a bit of gunplay in there as well when you go off and you start exploring various stations as you come across them. Right. And it's like, what am I going to find here? Am I going to find a horde of whatever? Or am I going to find supplies?
It's zombies, isn't it?
No.
Okay, fine. Don't tell me then. But it seems like
it's along those lines.
Every video game, it's always zombies.
Well, they keep talking about the visitation.
So it's
in
zombies.
This, it's like I say, I wouldn't say it's zombies.
Do they act like zombies?
They do, but the actual enemy themselves are just black silhouettes with white eyes.
Okay.
So that's all they are. Everything else has got colour to it.
Minstrels.
I think it is.
Yeah, back from the 70s.
Yes, you're...
Mammy.
Yeah. It's your job to finally get rid of that TV show. So you're going around hunting former cast members of the black and white minstrels, taking them out of the picture.
Take them out and bring balance to racial harmony by removing them from history.
That's right.
That sounds like a plan.
But I highly recommend it. It's very, very good.
Excellent.
I'm a little way into it, but I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent. Okay, dokie. Cool. Okay. Well, my week. Let's go through this because I've got a few things.
Jesus Christ, you're pulling out a notepad.
I am pulling out a notepad, but let's do first things first. I got a letter come through.
Just like points of view now, we're going to have Cyril reading out the letters page.
No.
We got a letter from an individual.
No, we got a letter.
Yep.
From Elliot Ridgeway. And
yes. I know what this is about.
There you go. You can have this.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, this is a Steam code for the game that he made.
Oh, cool.
Which which we did the music on.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, did the music track on it.
Oh, look, and there's my name written on the back.
There's your name written on the back of the CD. Look. There you go. I think that's it. I've got my Steam code here. I haven't played it yet. I've downloaded it. Yeah, this is the Steam code I've downloaded, so that's right. Cool. So, so Elliot, to say thank you for us doing that music track for his game, has given us some Steam codes and, a CD with the music on it.
That's beautiful.
There you go. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure this is entirely legal, considering the person who made the game is actually probably listening. But I've got the CD on my iPod now, so that's your CD if you want it.
Thank you.
There you go.
Well, it's got my name on it, man.
I know it's got your name on it.
It's mine.
Yeah, man. Just don't start getting all deavery now.
Hey. Where were my blue M&Ms in the green room, you fucker?
Up my arse.
Were they now?
Yes.
What were they doing up there?
Because I was trying to...
I just wanted them down your pants. I didn't want them up your ass. I specifically stressed blue M&Ms, your pants.
Oh, God. Elliot, if you want to take this thing off of Steam, you feel free, all right? Anyway, yeah, so it's a game by Elliot Ridgeway. It's on Steam. It's called Idiot's Tale. Like I say, I haven't played it yet. I have downloaded it, but yeah, well, you know, once I've had a little play with it, I do know that you will come to a training montage that will feature the sounds of Darren Diamond singing "You Gotta Pick It Up," and yeah, the montage is with a Diamond accompaniment.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So yeah, that's on Steam. I think it's for Windows, and yeah, we'll let you know more about that as the days go on. Cool. Also, right, okay. Next thing, of all the things you're expecting to find in your house on a Saturday morning, would a tortoise be one of them?
No.
Mine was, I woke up to find that an errant tortoise had made its way out of it, made some mad escape. Some 25, 30-year-old tortoise had made a mad escape from next door's garden and fallen in a bush in our house. And next thing I know, I come downstairs and the girls have got this bloody tortoise, and it's like I'm sitting there going, what is this? what? Because you have that confusing moment of like, oh no, have they gone to the pet shop? Has everyone gone and bought a tortoise? What's going on?
Yes, I know what that feels like.
You know, have I missed something? But no, yeah. So we had to go and find out where the tortoise had come from and how it had escaped and return it to its rightful owner.
Isn't it all written on his belly?
No, he didn't even have a name. I think the tortoise has been around for so long that the owner can't even remember the name of it. Well,
you'd like to think that they would punch like a postcode. You know when you used to get your bike stamped by the police? Maybe do that with the tortoise.
Yeah, well, you know, right on its back with Tipex or something. just put some big luminous letters on it. You think? Or put a marker on it. But anyway, so that was the first thing. There wasn't an awful lot to the story apart from the fact that it was like I come downstairs and next thing I know there's a bloody tortoise in the middle of the room. And it's not a small one. It was like about the size of it was a good sized tortoise. It's proper Blue Peter sized tortoise.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go.
Could you sit on its back?
Sized tortoise.
Yeah, Blue Peter size. You know, because they always have. It's amazing when they get tortoises in Blue Peter. They never have baby tortoises that have evolved over and grown over the course of the whole of Blue Peter's run. They always just turn up fully formed as like big enough to fit inside a big wine crate. You know, it's sort of like they never go, oh, Shelley, we've had Shelley for the last 30 years. Shelley's the longest running member of the fucking Blue Peter cast. It's always like, oh, Shelley was with us until an eagle swooped it away and dropped it in the pond and it drowned. Now we've got someone else called Lumpy or someone like that, and he's also
Lumpy.
He's also a 32-year-old tortoise who we've magically pulled out the box. It's just like, where did he come from? Oh, today he's called Lumpy. Oh, it's like, anyway. So yeah, so whenever I think of a tortoise being a good size, it's Blue Peter size because it's like a minimum size to show up on a camera in someone's lap. So next thing, I mean, yeah, Lost in Space we talked about. Tortoise, I went for my eye test. My long distance is coming in slightly. So now I'm needing multiple levels of glasses, which is a pain in the arse.
When are you just going to give up and just get that battle mech and, you know, just sit in that?
What?
You know, just because, you know, you're obviously falling apart, so you need machinery from now on.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up like Michael Ironside in Space Hunter.
Yeah.
Being hoisted about on a fork truck.
Next week it could be, welcome to the Black Dog Podcast. You have 20 seconds to comply.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, the only other thing I've got is, well, I've got two or three other things. One, we went to see Rampage yesterday.
Yes, we
which
did,
we won't talk. Which we won't talk about now because we've recorded a load of gibberish at the beginning before we went to see it, and then after we went to see it, with a lot of beer happening in between. So that's going to be on the Patreon, released on Patreon on the 1st of May for anyone for $5 and above. And yeah, the other thing was, well, two things really. One is I found out that next Monday, I thought next Monday I was going to go and watch Avengers again for a second time, but I've just remembered or been reminded that next week on Monday...
Yes.
So we'll get a full report next Tuesday. But next Monday, the girls are going on their guides thing. They've got to do this thing for charity, which is like a sort of, making money, asking mums to do things and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things they've got is a body shop makeup stuff. Application thing where the girls go and do makeup. So my mum's going. Their nan is going to this thing. Carol was going to this thing too. But she's not now. She's going off on a thing for work. So I've been nominated to take the place. So I'm going to have my makeup done by a bunch of girl guides next Monday.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. It's true.
Now, can I just add a little extra something to this? Right? Right? A little extra something to this is that last Friday, right, I was supposed to go with Katie to the Prince Charles for one of the sing-along sessions of The Greatest Showman.
Right.
Because she wanted to go.
Okay.
And I said I'd take her on one of the sessions.
Yeah.
Because they've got them every Friday for the next 2 months. Anyway, so for one reason or another, didn't go. Katie wasn't super happy, but she was okay. Then it came out that this week, and now bear in mind that this is the same daughter who is about to do my makeup on Monday. She discovered that at the Prince Charles, when they started doing all the singing and whatnot, some bloke got up at the back and started singing, and then came down the front, carried on singing. It was Hugh Jackman.
Oh my good God. Huge Action was there.
Huge Action got up and he basically did a sing-along of the film for the whole film.
She must fucking hate you.
God.
Yeah, she's not happy. She's not happy at all.
What you could have just said is, look, right, it's like this. Hugh wanted to go. I had to give him my ticket. He begged me. Right? He said, I'll owe you a beer. I went, all right, fine. I had to give him my ticket. And, well, that's why we couldn't go.
Yeah. I still don't think that's going to cut much mustard, no. And now, I'm now putting myself in the hands of said still slightly annoyed daughter to do my makeup on Monday.
Oh, man, you are going to pay big time.
I'm going to look like the Joker was shot in the face with a...
Yep, you are a victim of Homer Simpson's makeup gun, point blank range.
Full on, switch it up to whore and fire it at me.
Yep, the deep voiced one from Shakespeare's Sister is not going to have anything on you by the time
it's going to be very pleased to meet you.
Yeah, how'd you do? See, you met my favourite handyman.
I wasn't thinking that film. I was thinking more like, we got lumps of hair in the back.
I know where to get it.
Don't worry about him, sir. He's deaf and mad, sir.
down the left, one across each. So pray for Mojo on Monday is basically the point.
I know where you could get it if you want it.
So,
Is this going to be live streamed?
I'd love to say yes, but no.
Oh man, the things you do for Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah, so what can I say?
Pictures or shut the fuck up.
Well, I will probably put pictures up.
You will put pictures up. Yes.
I haven't put the picture up of you standing beside that glittery gnome yet.
Oh, that one, the big red gnome in the cinema.
For some reason, we were in the cinema, and the cinema's all been decked out. The Leicester Square one's got super highly polished marble now.
Oh god, it was like walk in there, one sneeze, and you're over on your ass.
Yeah, you would have just skidded along for about 70 feet, But to sort of commemorate this, they've got a glowing, sparkly gnome for the premiere of Sherlock Gnomes.
Did you notice something else last night? By the way,
Go on.
As we were walking out, and you got the hard sell for 4DX.
Yes.
Did you look like a man who didn't know what 4DX was?
No.
He obviously took one look at you and needed to tell you about 4DX.
Yes, he did.
Yes, for anybody who doesn't know what 4DX is, it's basically somebody's built a roller coaster inside the cinema, and you sit on that while watching the film.
Oh, and it farts in your face as well.
Yeah, it does, yes, to simulate wind.
Yes.
Or maybe just farting in your face.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was actually wearing a gnome's hat.
Yes, he was. Yes, it was a man with a gnome hat trying to give me the technical specs of a 4DX cinema that's going to be showing Avengers.
Advice to any cinema people out there who are listening, any of you people out there in cinema marketing, if you're trying to convince someone to do anything new, right, it's a little bit dangerous.
20 quid for it.
Exactly. Don't make the person trying to convince them wear something stupid like a fucking gnome's hat.
And how did that go down?
I
just carried on walking. I just said I'm going to end up with a spine through the top of my head.
I didn't even talk. I just walked on. I wasn't even looking. I looked once and just looked straight ahead and just walked straight out the door.
You did. You were very rude.
I was.
I engaged with him.
Yeah. But he just wouldn't shut the fuck up. He was 4DX, 4DX, 4DX. I love 4DX. I think we can see that, sir.
Yes, we can. 4DX.
Yes. 4DX.
Yes. You got one of them on your head as a fucking gnome.
Does your head go all the way up inside that hat?
Oh, God.
He was such a happy chap.
He was.
I think he was on commission.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, he was on something. Anyway, right. So, I've gone deaf in one ear. Right, okay. Bloody connection on my headphones has gone. So, anyway, at this point, I think, speaking of 4DX, we should move on smoothly to this week's movie, which is, again, the Patreon selected film, Magic Mike.
Head bird, 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 bird.
Ding, 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 dong.
I'm gonna bring the pow.
Temperatures rising. Streets the place to go. That's the night for the first time. Just about all testing. For the first time in history, it's gonna start raining men. It's raining men.
Right, thank you, ladies. No need to push. I know I'm a all man, all beef.
Hunger burning love.
Oh yeah, hunker burning love.
Oh yeah.
Hunker burning love. So anyway, yes. So welcome to the review part of the section. Obviously, we're doing Magic Mike. So, Magic Mike is a 2012 American comedy drama film directed by Steven Soderbergh. Soderbergh, not Soderbergh. Soderbergh. And starring... Soderbread, yeah. Starring Channing Tatum, Alex Pettyfer, Matt Bonner, Joe Magliano.
Or
Sorry.
Deathstroke, as he's known as in the DC universe.
Is there a DC universe?
Apparently, yeah, there is, yes. DC Cinematic Universe.
Is there?
The DCCCCCCCEU.
Sailor went to CCC.
To see what he could CCC, but all that he could CCC was the lack of good DC, you see. I like that. At least 3 people have just immediately stopped playing this podcast because of that bit. So
yeah, that's it. We've lost more more listeners.
Who cares? Who cares? Right. Anyway, and it also stars Matthew McConaughey. The plot revolves around Adam, a 19-year-old who enters the world of male stripping, guided by Mike Lane, who has been in the business for 6 years. The film is loosely based on the experiences of Channing Tatum himself, who was an 18-year-old stripper in Tampa Bay, Florida. Magic Mike was filmed in several locations around West Central Florida, and the film premiered as the closing film of the 2012 Los Angeles Film Festival. It was widely released by Warner Brothers on June 29th, 2012, and was a critical and commercial success. It was such a critical success. Let's have a look at this. It had a budget of $7 million. Jim, how much do you reckon it made?
27 million.
Okie dokie. Elton.
194 million.
Okay, and Darren.
I think it made about 100 million in tips in the G-string.
Nice. Well, Elton wasn't far off. It made 167.2 million in the States alone.
Wow.
Shut up.
Yeah, made lots of money.
Mike is indeed magic, apparently.
Yep, indeed. Magic.
I was just being a knob.
No.
No, that was Joe Magliano.
Yeah, with the big swingy friend. Magic Mike was directed by Soderbergh, based on a screenplay by Reed Carolyn, who's one of the film's producers. The screenplay was obviously part of Channing Tatum's experience as a stripper. Tatum said that he wanted to capture the atmosphere and the energy of his past as a stripper, but the film is fictional, which allowed him to create their own scenarios. The project was announced in 2011, was co-financed by Soderbergh and Tatum. In 2010, Tatum told an Australian newspaper that he would like to make a movie about his experiences as a stripper, saying, "We've already got a director picked out. I'd like Nicholas Refn, who did the film Bronson, because he'd be insane for it." Refn initially agreed to do the film because Tatum said he was going to do another movie together. However, since the project did not get off the ground and due to busy schedules, Tatum, who was then working with Steven Soderbergh on Haywire. Have you seen Haywire?
No.
That's the one with Gina, what's her name?
The MMA wrestler.
Yes. Yeah.
I know the one. She was the one I kind of thought would make a very good sort of either Wonder Woman or She-Hulk.
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah. She
was in Deadpool as well.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Good punchy film, Haywire.
Yes.
Anyway, so after that film, Soderbergh came on board. The dance numbers were choreographed by Alison Falk, while Christopher Pearson was in charge of the costume designs and Frank Pine supervised the music. Over the film, several dance numbers are performed. Musical producer Jack Rayner created a special dubstep version of It's Raining Men, which we've already heard. As sung by Couture Black for the dance sequence that features the ensemble for the first time together without the kid. For that sequence, Peterson chose to spray glitter on all the umbrellas and the raincoats to give them a wet effect. The kid's first strip did not purposefully have any choreography, and it was Alex Pettiver's idea to just show his bottom. These are actually, it's quite funny to see that it says these things and then it's got little references to sort of like back it all up. It's like, look in this interview, this was sort of... Anyway, before doing his moves, Pettifer did not know the song that was going to be played, which ended up being Madonna's Like a Virgin, performed by Nashville recording artist Chris Mitchell. The five-stripper group performed the song Sound Off, the Duckworth chant, with lyric changes and a military-themed number, and the scene in which Mike and Adam arrive at the sorority house dressed as cops was not in the original script, but was Peterson's idea. Not much in the way of filming. There was lots of stuff about the musical lists, but let's get to critical response. Magic Mike was reviewed positively by most critics. On Rotten Tomatoes, it still has a rating of 81% based on 192 reviews, with an average rating of 6.9 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads that Magic Mike is a sensitive direction, smart screenplay and strong performances, which allows the audience to have their beefcake and eat it too. The movie also launched an Academy Award buzz for Matthew McConaughey as Dallas. However, he was not selected for inclusion among the nominees, which he was later described as a snub. It made lots of top 10 lists in the critics' top 10. If it was in for the 2012 critics' top 10 for the New York Post, AV Club, IndieWire, Hitflix, Time Out New York, IndieWire, Newsday, The Village Voice, New Yorker, they all rated it highly. It also won some awards. It won the Independent Spirit Award, Best Supporting Male for Matthew McConaughey, National Society of Film Critics Award for Matthew McConaughey, and New York Film Critics Circle Award also for Matthew McConaughey. It also got nominated for Best Performance for Channing Tatum by the MTV Movie Awards, Best Shirtless Performance for Channing Tatum at the MTV Movie Awards, and Best Musical Moment, which was Channing Tatum, Matt Bonner, and the cast doing It's Raining Men. There was a sequel, and there was also a stage musical, which is currently on its way towards Broadway as we speak, but it hasn't arrived yet. So, this was obviously a film that we don't usually review, so it's going to be an interesting one to do, I think. And with that firmly in mind, Elton, what did you think of this film?
Fuck you. Where do I start with this one? This is not a film I would normally sit down, even out of curiosity.
Okay.
I think I've been... God, it's going to sound strange, but I've been turned off from stripping films by the Full Monty.
Oh, right.
Yeah, didn't really like that. I didn't like the hype around it, and it just didn't work for me. And yeah, this is one that I wouldn't normally dive into. I think within the first 5-10 minutes, I was hoping for something to cock tease me. No, not really. To surprise me.
Okay.
And I was fully on board for it to surprise me and maybe find a little gem of something, maybe a little secret love that I wouldn't mind watching now and again. Unfortunately, that didn't turn up. And
right.
What I got was a plate of cold custard. It was just... bleh. Okay. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't know where it is. It's there are some fucking cheesy bits all the way through it, but I stopped this around about halfway through the film.
Right.
And made myself a drink, and I thought, I'm going to think about this and wonder where it's going and wonder what's going to happen. And it was a case of well, there's nothing really set up. There's no real leads as to what's going to happen, and really don't care where it's going to happen. And I think with 9 minutes to go, I was still there going, well, there's nothing really here, is there? Now, look, the guys look great. There's a tiny bit of comedy in there. That bit where he's pumping his knob up. I think that was very cleverly done. But it's like when you tell a story, and I think we've all been there, when you're telling a story and you think it's going really great, and then all of a sudden you lose train of where you're heading with this story.
Yeah.
And you kind of just hit a cul-de-sac, and then you're like, don't really know where I'm taking this story, but people are looking at me now, wondering where I'm taking this. And there's the punchline, and I need a drink. And it just doesn't go anywhere. I don't understand it. It's when it got to the druggy sort of things, that was way too late in the storyline to bring up this drug deal type thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't set up early enough. And thus, when it is brought in, it just doesn't have the impacts that it should have.
Right.
It's too concentrated into 10 minutes worth of whatever's going on the screen. And I don't know, it didn't feel seedy enough as well.
Does it have to feel seedy, though?
No, but that's what... No, it doesn't.
Needed some grit.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Some sand in the Vaseline.
I've got no problems with all the dancing and stuff like that. I think the choreography is great. It works really, really well. And normally with like a striptease, let's say ladies stripteasing, you'd have the seedy side of the leery men and the horribleness of that. And surprisingly, you didn't get that. You got lots of ladies shouting around going, oh, look, here's some dollars. But I think I was expecting more from the gritty real life thing of being a stripper, where this really doesn't portray that. It's all the glamour, but the glamour is so dulled down that it's not really worth telling that story.
Fair enough.
It just doesn't feel like a story that's worthy of sticking it on a screen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Matthew McConaughey plays a very, very good older stripper, though. By the way, I wanted to ask, is this where the all right thing comes from?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Right, yeah. I didn't know that, and that was okay. That was a nice little collection for my pot.
There you go. A little bit of
I've learnt.
There you go. Just a little bit of pop culture update for you there.
Yeah, exactly. It works really well. But yeah, it doesn't. There's some shit lines in it as well. There's a bit where they both jump off the bridge into the water, and he says, "Oh, can I be your best friend?" Well,
No, he said, me and you are going to be best friends. I think that's...
No, I thought he said, I'm going to be your best friend.
right. Well, it's
Or we're going to be best friends. It is a bit on the nose, I'll be honest with you, though.
And it feels so forced. The film has... It's got somewhere... It could be hard hitting in certain places. You could have a nasty turn. We had the drug effect story in there, but it just wasn't long enough or deep enough or didn't mean anything to the actual overriding story itself, and thus was kind of washed out. Didn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. And then when Channing Tatum decides to up and leave, you're kind of left going, okay, is this where the story gets going? Oh, no, this is where it ends. Okay, fine, brilliant. Thank you very much. And then that was it. It was just... It wasn't full of anything. It didn't have any meat on there to get into, to really enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's why when you asked me about the total gross, I was taking the piss and just saying 193 whatever million. I said, because there was no way that film was going to take that. But you turned around and said it made 160 odd, and I'm like, fucking hell, man. And that just must be Channing Tatum fans just going again and again to see him with his, top out, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe that's too shallow for me to say that. I don't get it. Honestly, don't get it.
Fair enough. Okie dokie. Well, I think we might come back to that in a bit because I've got something very similar in thought in mind. But Jim, what about you, sir? What do you think?
Well, I had a similar reaction to Elton, really. I mean, when it began, it was kind of, oh, okay, this is actually a bit sort of more of an indie film, a bit more dramatic than I was expecting, which was good. You know what I mean? It's kind of has not a documentary feel, but it's got like a down-to-earthness about it.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, this could be interesting, but it was nicely shot. It was nicely played. It was well acted. But by the time I got to the end, I thought, well, what was the point of that? And then I remembered, oh, it's a Steven Soderbergh film. All these fucking films are like this. I mean, he's a good director, don't get me wrong. I think Magic Mike is a decent film, but it's kind of missing something. It's just stuck at 7.5, when really it's kind of with a bit of a push. This year could have been an 8, a 9, a 10 even.
Yeah.
And I have that with nearly all of Soderbergh's films. I thought, yeah, that was nicely done.
Yeah.
Don't know why, though. I mean, a lot of his films, if you look, I did go back and look at his filmography and thought, yeah, skip that one. Oh, I remember that one, but I've forgotten it. And why did you make that? Who thought that was a good idea? You know what I mean? Kind of. I mean, the thing is, he's not a crap director, but he just seems to. I think he's made a career out of going, if I just do something understated, people think that's really profound. What I'm going to call the silent Bob approach to filmmaking.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're just not saying anything.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, this is the kind of, it's a movie that's kind of not necessarily or immediately apparently in my wheelhouse, but I've watched a lot of indie films and a lot of like offbeat films about people with alternative lifestyles of, drug dealers, drug users, transvestites, all sorts of freaks and weirdos. And they can be very, interesting and engaging films that take you into that world. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a grim fest with people jacking up and vomiting and squalor. Yeah. You don't have to earn your reality like that. You can, I think I was saying the other week about the humor of real life. You know what I mean? You have a serious film, but it can still be funny because people in real life are funny, and life is sometimes funny. Yeah, and certainly something like a male stripping, I was expecting a bit more of the seediness. I was expecting a bit more of that descent in, the underworld of the nightclub scene of the party scene, and to the drugs thing was kind of like, I know you don't have to. Drug stories sort of tend to go one way, and they can be very predictable in the same way sports movies are. Yeah. It's kind of, the underdogs. Oh, are they going to win in the end? I bet they are. He's having fun on drugs. Is he going to end up in rehab? I think he is. And, I can understand why you don't want to just turn it into another one of those movies. But I did feel he screwed around, dealers a lot of money, and then the matter was dropped almost. It's kind of, I don't think it just works quite as simple as that in real life. And I say the skeleton was there, but it really needed, this plot needed to go to the gym and work out a bit harder. And also work out, is it building its ass or is it building its pecs? Is it going for something that's going to be serious and dramatic, or is it going more, funny and offbeat? And it was kind of, it's just trundling along in the middle lane, sort of weaving a bit here and there. And I mean, it was kind of enjoyable enough, but at the end of it, I just felt kind of, that should have been so much more.
Yeah.
I said not a bad film. I didn't hate it. It engaged me. I thought it was nicely done. I thought Matthew McConaughey in particular was just pitch perfect. The cocktail of glitter, sleaze, and charm.
Yeah.
His character needed to be. There's some great just bits. And I mean, Soderbergh does do kind of what I think the little moments really well. And I think too many directors do go Sturm und Drang and don't rein it in, because sometimes you can get a lot from a little.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, it's kind of like, it just needed something else. It just needed a sprinkle of sparkle somewhere, and just I think it's one of those sort of films. It's a bit frustrating because it's not a bad film. It's quite a good film, but I just felt it could have been a really good film, and that's sort of annoying.
Yeah. Cool. Okie dokie. Right. Well, let's move to Darren then. Darren, what about you? What did you think?
Well, it definitely wasn't what I was expecting.
Right.
Okay.
What were you expecting?
I thought it was going to be just light and fluffy all the way through. Right, it was just not going to be, attempt to be serious. It did have that in it. It was an okay film.
Right.
I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a terrible film at all. The thing I liked about it, I think the thing that appealed to me about it was the way that people talked over one another in it. It wasn't sort of like somebody finishing a line and then somebody saying the next line. They it was like a normal, they had the structure of the speech was like a normal conversation where somebody would just, you'd interrupt somebody just as they were finishing their sentence, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I like the way that was structured in the film. We kind of, made it a little bit, tried to add a little bit realism between the conversations there. But as it is, I mean, I kind of lost interest in it as I was watching it. Yeah, my phone kind of drew my attention away a couple of times from what was going on.
Okay.
So, while it was all right and that, technically it was good, with the sort of like the actual choreography and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everybody sort of like doing their, performing, it's sort of like, performing themselves there. I suppose it's not surprising Channing Tatum could do that sort of thing, seeing as he was,
a stripper.
Although it was quite funny watching it. And at the back, you've got the one called Tarzan.
He was just out of time.
I'm pretty sure
all the time.
Kevin Nash, the wrestler.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty much just lumbering away in the background there.
Yeah.
It's like having Chewbacca in Strictly Ballroom. It's just
Now that I'd pay to see.
yeah, exactly.
Well, funny enough, that's the end scene. That's the end after credits of Solo.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
Chewbacca getting on down with his bad self.
In Strictly.
Yeah. Apparently he's doing a polka.
Is he? Okay.
Rip someone's arms off as well.
So that made me laugh every time. Sort of like Kevin Nash was sort of like on screen trying to dance. Just like he's got about as much grace as a box of bloody Rice Krispies. He's just that's it. There's just no actual smoothness there whatsoever.
No.
The other bit that made me laugh, of course, at the bit at the beginning when they're in the actual changing rooms, and you notice, you notice the dick in the pump. You know, it's just like the fuck.
Yeah, that was definitely a double take moment, wasn't it? It was
it was.
What? Oh, right.
Yeah. So it was like I say, it was okay, but it's just my attention wandered.
Yeah,
while I was watching it.
Yeah.
Nice attempt to try and do something with it and not make it. It could have been a complete trashy movie, but it adds. There was something there. I think as everybody else has said, with a little bit more care, a little bit more writing, better
Yeah.
writing, it would have been something special. I think it could have been the strippers version of. You could have had a stripper's version of Rocky. It had the gritty bits in there. Like, take it like The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke and show the real fucking downsides of being in that profession. Yeah. How soul fucking killing it must be if you're not so successful to be in that job.
Yeah.
And be it the only way you can make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, someone like Matthew McConaughey's character of that age being in that profession, when you're not so popular, you know, and it's just you've relied on your looks and that all that time. Let's explore that side of it,
Yeah.
But no, we kind of got like a Fast and Furious version of the stripping world. I think it's it could have been more serious, but it kind of just missed the mark.
Yeah,
and I think I would have really enjoyed it had it gone that way.
Okay, cool.
It had a bit of it in there, but not enough.
Yeah. Okay.
It kind of scratched the surface of the McConaughey story, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's right. What do you do there? You just stand there. You
Ladies of Tampa.
I'm just gonna roll those hips, and you just keep rolling those hips.
It's not
You
you fucking
hang
mirror.
on. Yeah, don't look at me. Don't concentrate, and then you bring the pow.
That sounded suspiciously like a deeper voiced Eric Cartman.
Yeah, then you bring a pow. Yeah.
Funny enough,
You guys, I'm going home.
Funny enough, I will confess before I start my bit. I watched this with Carol. Yeah,
You thought it was an outstanding movie.
No. I went upstairs. We went upstairs afterwards, just like time for bed. Right,
Yeah.
Turn off all the lights. I went upstairs, fully dressed. I just went up to her and I went,
And then I'm gonna come and bring the pow.
and I think by the time she stopped laughing was a full solid hour and a half later. It's not a film that makes you feel good as a bloke, I'll be honest. In terms of your own self-worth.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, for me, I think I'm in line with pretty much what everyone else has said so far. I mean, it's like Soderbergh does this thing when he does a big story. He sort of almost does one for them, one for me. So you have like for every traffic, you get one of these, which is kind of a slice of life kind of thing. For every sex, lies, and videotape, he has to do a sort of Ocean's 11. He kind of like there's big budget Soderbergh, and then there's indie Soderbergh. And whenever he does indie Soderbergh, you can always tell, because rather than try and tell you that time's moved on or we've changed scenes, he changes colour filters. Right? So if we're in the stripping joint, everything's got the colour saturation ramped up to 11 stupid, right? And if he's outside in the real world being nice Mike, then what you've got is everything's filmed through monochrome yellow. The outside always yellow. And then if something goes horribly wrong, usually if it's a nightmare or it's like drugs or something's gone horribly wrong, what usually happens is he alternates between two colours in the same scene. So camera 1 is dark blue and camera 2 is dark red. And it will just go flip-flop, back forward. And so we had that Soderbergh. So as soon as I figured we had that Soderbergh, I kind of figured the story wasn't going to actually have a beginning, middle, and end. It was just going to be a block of time in these characters' lives.
Right.
And that's exactly what it was. The problem was it was the most boring block of time in these characters' lives, because you didn't see the Matthew McConaughey setup with Mike. You didn't see Mike after this event, who presumably is now skint, and but he's starting on a relationship with the sister. You didn't find out what happened to the kid. You just know that he's kind of gone away somewhere, and then he's
now replaced Mike.
Yeah, he's replaced Mike, and that they're going down to Miami. But that's the interesting bit. That's the meat on the bones. That's what happens to Mike. What happens to these people? They're doing the risk. Matthew McConaughey's sort of basically selling up a good thing to go and make all the money over here in. And the sister's like, well, if you go down there, that's a bad place. It's going to end up as a bad thing. And so you're like, show me that story. Show me the story when you set this up. But what you actually see is basically the last 3 months of Mike's working career.
Yep.
And that's it. And there's no real reason to it other than he just has a bit of an epiphany and sort of figures out that he can't do this forever. Which pretty much gets summed up about 25, 30 minutes in when he has that conversation with McConaughey, who says, what do you think? You're going to be the big dog now? You're going to be the big dog now? You're coming to talk to me? You're going to bite my hand? Bite the hand to feed you? You only got so many years left. And he does all that. And it's like, okay, so now you've laid that out. Now the rest of the film is just getting to that point where Mike finally gets the balls to just leave. And, but the relationship between him and Olivia Munn, that's basically 3 scenes. In a 2 and a bit hour movie, and the stripping was kind of inconsequential. That was kind of almost felt like that was that could have been, that didn't need to be stripping. That could have been construction work, or it could have been.
Well, I think it was drivers. At one point, wasn't it?
Truck drivers.
He had the tool belt on and he got his sledgehammer out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking the stripping.
That's not a euphemism.
Yes, no. I'm not knocking the stripping or anything like that. That wasn't really my point. It was just more the fact that it was the story as presented was fairly generic. And didn't really give you an insight into what was going on with stripping, and it didn't give you an insight into what he was going to do next, and it didn't give you an insight between his relationship with the kid, given the fact that to get the kid out of basically having his kneecaps broken, he's just given over all the money he saved. And so I was kind of willing it. By the end of it, I was like willing it to just go, right, okay, settle on one of these stories and follow it through. The drugs thing, the fact that something was bad had happened at the sorority house. Let's follow that, or let's go back to the fact that the stripping job's gonna is it gonna fall through? There was a moment in the house when Matt Bonner turns around and says, go sleep with my wife, she loves it, I'll just sit here and watch, drugged out of my skull. And you think, okay, is that going to lead to tensions within the group? But nothing. And it just seemed like they threw half a dozen story seeds into the ground, and every single one of them they just forgot because they suddenly went, oh, let's just do this instead. Let's do this instead. And that was the problem. Every single one of those things, you could have done something with it. I mean, if you want to talk bawdy sex comedies, you could go back to something like Lemon Popsicle, which is just like, have you?
Blimey.
You can go, yeah, man.
That's like a film that was just grabbed straight out of the air. That was.
But that was the same sort of thing. It was like, 3 kids in high school who end up going into the army. So there's this the rest of the plot of them losing their virginity and whatever all becomes sort of like framed around this idea that it's like a friendship breaking up, and so there was that idea, and it just sort of like you hung all the other stuff off of it. Magic Mike could have done something very similar. He pursues the brother's sister who doesn't want the brother to be in stripping, but she seems to veer between, no, we got to sort this out. Look after him, Mike. And then 5 minutes later going, yeah, he's a big boy. He can figure it out. And it's like, well, settle on it. One or the other. What's it going to be? And then 10 minutes later, by the end of the film, it's like, oh, you've left stripping. Okay, I'm going to sit and talk to you. Everything's forgiven. Roll credits. I mean, I haven't seen Magic Mike XXL, but I'm almost intrigued to see it just to see if they actually try and wrap it all up. Because it almost felt like the prelude to an actual drama but there was no actual drama. It was a drama without drama. And every time it looked like something actually was going to kick off, you know, whether it's Olivia Munn turning up on the Sandbank party, you know, and wanting to get on down with a threesome with the sister, or whether or not it was, you know, drug taking, or that guy who, your wrestler guy, your Kevin Nash guy.
Yeah.
What was the deal with him freaking out on the floor?
Well, what he did was, and you heard Mahoney saying, "Oh, fucking, he's done it again." It was all to do with the drink that the DJ brought in, where what it is, you take a small sip from the cap, and it's like getting drunk, but without the calories, is what he said.
I missed it.
But you see Kevin Nash takes a swig from the bottle and then takes the cap as well, and it's just like, this is why he's completely passed out, because the stuff is so strong it can fell an elephant. You know, it's
right. What?
I thought that was going to turn into another setup. You know, they were goading him and having all the fun with the apprentice type jokes at the very beginning when he was asking him to rub his legs, etc.
Yeah.
I thought I saw him drink the drink, but then I thought when I saw him shaking on the floor, oh yeah, put the new kid out and, you know, see how he goes. And I thought it was going to be a case of he steps out and then the guy on the floor stands up and then they all look around the corner and see how he's doing. And, oh, he's actually quite good. Well, then he can join our band. But yeah, it didn't work out that way. It felt as if he was going for like a hard 18, but then was told to tone it down to make it like a 12A. And so you had almost hard-hitting subjects through this, whereas he then reined it back in when the actual execution was considered. And it was just weak ass. Yeah.
I mean, I almost feel like it would have been if it just chosen to go full Gonzo and just gone, right, okay, I know what, we'll just wheel out the man meat and just have it all on display 24/7 and just have everything centered around the club and just have the conflict happen with the different strippers. That would have been something, but it just seems so scattershot, just not sure where to put the emphasis. And I could have thought up about half a dozen different ways any one of those bits could have gone and made some drama, but it didn't. It just went June, July, August, end, and it was like, oh, okay, fairly uneventful quarter of a year, the end, you know. And I just wish it had been a bit more. And that's not to say that I hated the film. I didn't hate the film because I was sitting there constantly thinking, okay, here we go. Okay, this is where the film's going. You know, Olivia Munn's going to muck things up with him and, you know, with Mike and the sister. Or, you know, but she didn't. She got away first. And I don't know. I kind of am really nonplussed by this film. But the thing is, I'm nonplussed by it, not because of the stripping, but purely because I just kind of wanted it to do something.
Well, there was that bit where they went around the corner and they saw that other pink head chick on the floor.
Yeah.
And it was a case of, oh, yeah, steer clear of her. She's dangerous. And I know that kind of led to the drug story, but that wasn't fleshed out enough either.
No.
It could have been so much more.
Yeah. It just kind of happened, and then she just kind of vanished. And that's what I'm saying. It's this whole thing of, you don't get enough time with the secondary characters and with the plots to make anything out of it. The whole thing of, that's where I thought it was going. Once he started taking the drugs and then he gave the drugs away to the sorority and then he gave away so many drugs that he owed 10 grand to some mobster, I thought, now here we go. This is where the plot's going. Thanks very much. And literally Mike just went, oh, I paid for that. It's all gone away. It's like, oh, right. Literally the next scene. And it's like, well, what now? Okay. We've got 25 minutes left to go. And that was it. It was just give me a little bit more. Just pick one of those reasonably good story starters and stick to it.
Yeah, I think it could have been really good. That's the thing. It's really annoying.
Yeah,
because I think all the dancing around it was perfectly good for what we were getting on the screen, and that just add a bit of body onto it.
Body.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean that. Sorry, but add something on there, and you've got quite a, like as Jim said, you got a 8-9 out of 10 film there.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Well. Okie dokie. So, I think.
Did anyone get a chubby?
What? I'll be.
That question hasn't been asked, has it?
Well, no, it hasn't been asked. I'll be honest with you. I didn't. I would also say that I was kind of, and this is kind of an interesting thing, I guess. Maybe worth chatting about for a second. But as soon as it became clear that Mr. Happy wasn't coming out to play in any kind of explicit way, I kind of just went, "Oh, all right, then fine. We can stop. We can stop worrying now." And it was kind of really weird. I was happy to watch like 5 guys dancing around, ripping their clothes off, butts flowing everywhere, and everything's oiled up and whatnot. And I actually thought some of the dancing stuff was really funny, especially when they're sort of pulling all the girls out of the audience and just baying for blood. And then the bloke picks up that girl and then just goes, "Oh, be back." and I thought that was all of that kind of stuff was really kind of funny and fun. But I think as soon as I saw that, Mr. Happy was going to be hiding behind silhouettes and people's sort of gulping gazes and all this kind of thing, I thought, yeah, okay, so it's that kind of film. Because it so could have just easily just been like half a pound of sausages just being smashed into the screen for 2.5 hours.
Throw some chipolatas at the camera. There we go.
Sausages.
Sausages.
Do you know one thing that
Walls.
I've heard sort of like male strippers complain about when they go and do like hen pies and stuff like this is the damage they actually receive from doing things like that, where they get the audience gets so kind of aggressive that they get they come away with like scratched and torn bits and whatever you.
Yeah,
and they could have done something about that in there, but they didn't.
Yeah,
Could have had the stripping version of the wrestler there, couldn't you?
Like I said, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that. I mean, I can't think of many female stripping films that have actually been any good.
Striptease.
Striptease was fucking.
Was it
hell.
the other one? The thingy
Striptease
girls,
and
showgirls.
Showgirls, both of which were absolute rubbish. But so I guess that's something. I guess that's something that Magic Mike's got, because at least it was a competently made film from start to finish.
Yeah,
but
I think when you turn around and say Mr. Happy not coming out, there is a little danger that I suppose if that does come out, then, or that it does, then you're waiting for that, and you've got a bit of nervous tension in the air, waiting for that sort of scene to happen. Where I think in the first 10, 15 minutes, you kind of know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think nervous tension was kind of the way I would have described it. It was more just the fact of like, I think there's a thing with all films, whether it's male stripping or female stripping, or like in with female dancers on poles or whatever, is if you see they're all dancing around in their pants, you think, okay, this is as far as the film's going to go. I know where I am with this. And this applies to both men and women, but if suddenly like the pants are off and it's either the Tufty Squirrel Club a go-go or sausages flying about like a lunatic, like someone's basically blown up a hot dog stand, then you're into a film which is kind of more interested in just kind of going, ta-da, look at all the bits, here's the bits, there's your bits. And it's just like, you just know that the story, regardless of who's directing it, is just going to go one way, which is going to be lots of, oh, look, you saw a bit of minge. Oh, you saw a bit of the old sausage. And it's just like, as soon as that didn't happen, I was like, okay, right, fine. So they are actually going to bother with a story. And I just kind of was like, fine. And instead of Penosaurus Rex coming and slapping us in the screen, or getting one of those moments where you suddenly get like 5 girls doing the same thing, but all completely buck naked because, hey, it's okay for girls, but not for men.
Well,
and it
when
didn't
you
really
turn
do
around
that.
and say lots of sausages flying at the screen, you could have, and the nervous tension type thing, right?
It's not nervous tension. Stop saying nervous tension.
Well, I'm just about to explain it. You could sit down and watch this movie and then see all the abs all over the place and go, well, a couple of star jumps might be there. That's all right. But Mr. Schlong-a-lot comes out with his massive stick of rock, and you're like, oh, star jumps ain't going to correct that for me, are they? So, that's not helping me one little bit. So that's where
the pump, though.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Didn't have the pump.
Yeah.
Maybe they gave him away with Blu-rays. That'd be a collector, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That would be something of a collection, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I like I say, I wasn't worried about the actual, about Mr. Floppy coming out as much as I was worried about if it did, it kind of would give me a straight away, pardon the pun, a heads up of where the story would go or how it would be presented, and it didn't. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. We're not into softcore porn, sort of David Duchovny Red Shoe Diaries kind of affair. Just pause for while everyone pretends that they didn't hear. They didn't used to watch that on Channel 5.
La 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 la. What's Baby Station?
Don't say it again. Ollie will come back. He'll start asking us to be on, telling me porkies. Don't say it again, Jim. I swear to God. You only get 3 times you can say it in the mirror
Like
before.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, or Candyman. So, Tony Todd will just appear behind you and go, what was it? Are you telling me porkies? And you'll just be whisked away. Right. Okay. Well, let's hear what Sarah had to say about this, because obviously it was her film she picked, and I will also say this. We were going to have a different film, and I can't remember what it was. It was something. It was it was going to be Tom Cruise Rock of Ages, but we couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, so we didn't get that. I'm just saying that just in case she brings it up in the feedback, because I haven't read the feedback. But essentially, that was the first choice.
That was her first choice.
That was her first choice. And I said, well, I can't find it on Netflix, can't find it on Amazon, can't find it in Mr. Torrance House of Plenty. I think we're just going to have to go for a different film. And she went, oh, Magic Mike.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. Anywho, so let's hear what she has to say. So she's written him, And she says, "Hi guys, hope you're well and on your way to forgiving me for making you watch Magic Mike. I noted Elton was particularly aggrieved. However, I just wanted to pick something completely out of your comfort zone and something you would never have considered watching, as opposed to something you may just not have got round to watching. The film itself is fine, but with some plot holes and unfinished storylines, and I did think about making some big statement about how differently stripping is viewed by men and women. The film could have said so much about the world of male stripping. I'm always interested in men's reaction to male nudity. Women are expected to like/not pass comment on every single film that crowbars female nudity into it. There was even some in the first 5 minutes of this film, which is about male strippers. However, men need to be seen to bristle at the idea of seeing male nudity in any context. Most women will think it's a laugh seeing men wiggle and gyrate around. Remember the Chippendales from the 80s? Do they even still exist? I doubt it. Darren, do you want to tell us about the Chippendales?
Yeah, there were a couple of very small furry creatures. It was Chip and Dale. Disney production.
I was going to say it was a cupboard, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did a line in. Well, this when their career fell, the bottom fell out of their career. They had to go and do something, so they thought, I know,
woodwork.
Let's woodwork. We can do that. I've seen some of their work, some of the chest of drawers and stuff like that. It's really good. Better than some of that shit you get in Argos.
Yeah, definitely. That chipboard chip. Anyway, back to Sarah. So she continues, but in general sense, men take the idea of women stripping much more seriously than vice versa. Anywho, despite the genre of the film, I hope you still enjoyed watching something that you wouldn't have considered before. Cheers, Sarah. So there you go. Personally, I didn't mind actually watching something that I hadn't seen before. I'm quite up for that normally. So I didn't mind that so much, and there was a lot of sniffiness on the Facebook group with, why are you watching this? And it's just like, we are a film review podcast. We do skew towards the science fiction and the horror and the thriller genres,
yeah,
and the occasional comedy.
Yep,
but it doesn't hurt to just put your fingers in the water a bit. Just
Careful.
Spread your wings, spread your bingo wings, and let's be honest, the amount of times various parts of our anatomy have been mentioned over like 355 episodes of involving various bits of glue, drills, cameras, spiders,
chili,
a cockroach across the balls. I'm pretty sure was one of them, wasn't it?
Cockroach. Take back what you said, Sarah. It'll be a cockroach across your balls.
No, when I sat down in the toilet, and I think it was.
But it just sounded like a punishment.
Oh, right.
You'll get a cockroach across your balls if you don't behave yourself.
Yeah, a genital
pick it up and smack it right across them.
Yeah, so as it goes, I don't mind. I'm happy to watch pretty much anything, because at least at some point I'll turn around and sort of stroke my chin beard very, very knowingly and go, this reminds me of the kind of mise en scene that we saw in things like Magic Mike, and get very... while everyone goes, oh, you poncy twat. But, yeah, so thank you. Thank you for picking it, to be honest. I thought it was really quite cool. I'm glad we saw it, because it is quite interesting to see something you wouldn't have watched before, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's always refreshing,
Yeah. So... as far as the male stripping thing is concerned, I think it's kind of interesting that all four of us kind of didn't really get concerned about that too much. I mean, Mr. Floppy conversation aside, it was like, yeah, it was quite clear that actually that's almost secondary to the thing. Though I tell you what, I'm going to ask a question, and you don't have to answer this. You can plead the fifth. But have any of you been to, shall we say, gentlemen's entertainment locations?
Yes, I have. I've actually been to one. It was a friend of mine's birthday, and he said, I want to go to this thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
It's your birthday, fine. I'll come along with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've always had an impression of what atmosphere, it's like within a strip joint,
Right.
for guys, and there is a difference in atmosphere between the two.
Like
one
Sarah
thing-
was saying, yeah.
Yeah, there is. It's kind of, whereas women seem to have fun with it, and they get all excited and there's all cheers and stuff like this. Go to a men's strip, a strip
Yeah.
off, with like girls doing the stripping and it's men in the audience, and suddenly it takes on a darker. It does take on a darker tone. The whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just you got all these men sort of standing round, kind of just staring.
Yeah.
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 And it's just, I remember, like, because, and this is the thing as well. If you go, it was a pub in the Old Kent Road, and what they did was, they would, every time girls got up and did their thing, they would pass a beer glass round, and you would put a quid in it,
Right.
and it was just, I don't know, even that seemed really.
You.
Yeah, it was so uncomfortable, so awkward. I went a bit Hugh Grant when I was in there.
Oh, why?
No, hello. Oh, you're a lovely, charming young lady, aren't you? And I'd try to be a bit more.
So you didn't go off to get a blowjob from a prostitute down at the docks then?
No,
That-
nothing
not
like
that
that.
Hugh
at all.
Grant.
No, not that Hugh Grant. No, I wasn't found on a motorway lay-by somewhere. No, it just I just felt really quite uncomfortable in there. It just didn't seem
Yeah.
right. It was like, this is a wrong one.
Yeah, so what
this whole-
Sarah's saying is right, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to get to, is that whole thing of, like, girls are just having fun, whereas men are treating it like a predatory lunch. Sort of like,
Yeah, it's that
here
whole
comes
thing
the
of,
fresh meat,
it's
I
that-
shall observe.
I think it's the mentality behind that. It depends on how you yourself, how you view
Nudity?
yeah, it's your attitude. I think it's the attitude to. I think it's your attitude to sex. Really, it's that whole thing of how you relate to someone.
Yeah.
In that sort of manner, it shines through with this. I think. These aren't places that I frequent. I've been to that.
Really, Dal?
Yeah,
We're all
really.
friends here now.
Yeah, no, nothing like
You can
that.
tell us.
And there's like, and
Ignore
it's
Jim
just,
laughing in the background.
yeah, and it's just, this is the reason. This is one of the reasons why I don't frequent places like this.
Yeah.
Is because I felt so uncomfortable being in there.
Yeah.
It just really wasn't. The atmosphere was just horrible. Just really, really nasty.
Okay. That's just interesting then.
Did you get that from the sister when she first went down to see what her brother was doing?
Actually, yes, because then she does that whole thing of just staring at Mike and it was a really odd scene, that, because it's like everything he does, you keep cutting back to her just like staring at him, and I'm sure that was supposed to be sort of like, oh, she's suddenly seeing what he's like and she's finding him
I think
quite
there was a bit
attractive.
of conflict in there. She didn't want to kind of like him, and it was her. It's that whole thing of her seeing the physical side of what he does and feeling, I shouldn't be feeling like this.
Yeah.
That he's making me feel uncomfortable because
Yeah.
I don't want to be feeling this about him.
It was funny because that was kind of a cliche. That was one of those that moments you see in films where the man strips off his T-shirt to wash the car or whatever.
Denim for the man who doesn't have to
Exactly.
try too hard.
And then the lady who disapproves from a distance is actually watching him over the washing line or something like that. It's just like,
All the ladies love McTray.
yeah,
That's a good thing from the film. There's not a lot of cliches really rammed down your throat in this.
Except almost Joe Magliano's.
yeah. Do we not do phrasing anymore? Is phrasing not a thing we do anymore? Do we not do that?
No.
Jim, where's the euphemisms? You're so slow on the uptake
Yeah,
to do so.
Jim,
You
wow.
should have basically blasted yourself into oblivion with euphemism every 10 seconds.
I'm off my game at the minute.
Should have been run ragged. Okay, well there you go. So, don't know what else I can add to this. I mean,
I think kind of there is a definite difference between strip shows for men and strip shows for women, and I think a lot of it's to do with the basic ridiculousness of a naked man. To paraphrase Crichton from Red Dwarf, really? That was the best design they had? The last turkey in the shop?
yeah.
Whereas the female form, it's not sort of saggy, dangly bits. It's smooth curves and lines. And I think, patriarchal society aside, I think generally kind of a naked man and a naked woman, the naked woman is just better aesthetically every time. And I think that's why kind of the women have fun. And yeah, there is a sexual element to it, but there's also, I don't know, a comedy to it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I think it does come down to the fact that, I know kind of for a film like Magic Mike, obviously I think even if they went for a hard R, there's only so much they can show.
Yeah.
I believe there is a set angle censors have.
Yes.
Mr. Floppy cannot be of a certain angle ever unless your film goes to a very special shop indeed.
Yes. He cannot be upstanding. He cannot be upstanding for the national anthem.
Which I think, is a ridiculous double standard. But, it's kind of... I think the whole thing about nudity in films, male or female, is full of ridiculous double standards. Like, take your kid to see Rambo, see him shoot hundreds of commies and gooks, that's fine. Pair of breasts? No, 18.
Yes.
But I'm 16, I can legally have sex. No, but you can't look at it on the screen for another 2 years.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. It's like the manga and anime stuff, like, with the sort of like you got your sort of, seriously weird, fucked up tentacle porn, but woe betide you if during that tentacle porn stuff, hentai madness and furry banana stuff, if someone draws a tiny bit of pubic hair somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good Lord, no! I mean, you can have your sort of like Legend of the Overfiend, 2,000-mile long penis with thousands of people building out of it with a creature that's actually standing there and literally fucking the world, and that's fine. But if he had a tiniest whiff of pubes, suddenly the whole film would have got banned. It was like, what? What? I agree. Nudity and all that kind of stuff is just... I think it can be summed up with human beings need to get over themselves, to be honest. Because it's all there. It's like, do you imagine that everyone just goes to bed and just like, everyone has to have the lights out and everyone has to have one of those wee willy winky bed night gowns that goes right down to the ankles. Excuse me, Marjorie. I must avert my eyes. You must avert your eyes while I put on my 7 layers of boxer shorts and my thick woolen jumper. It's like, and do not look at my legs, lady. I implore you. It's just really odd.
Well, it's one of the things watching this. I mean, I wasn't sort of concerned there wasn't explicit male nudity, except in the fact that I thought kind of, well, I know kind of as a younger, more hormonally crazed man, something like a film like Striptease promises you so much and delivers so little.
Yeah.
I think there's a whole there's probably a whole subgenre of these sort of naughty Hollywood films where they're going to, you're going to get to see this star naked, and you never do, and it's absolutely cobblers, you know what I mean? It's a swizz.
Yeah.
I would have liked to add more in Magic Mike about his sister's reaction of that conflict of kind of, well, I disapprove, but I quite fancy his mate now, seeing him stripping.
Yeah.
That's an interesting bit of dramatic seed there, but
Yeah. But again, it just didn't follow it through.
no.
So, and that also would have been an interesting double standard.
It's all sizzle and no sausage on many levels.
On so many levels. Because that would have been an interesting double standard. Thinking about it, that she's happy to stare at him herself, and stare at Mike with his bum out and doing all these dances and whatnot, and fancy and lust after him. But oh no, your brother can't do that. Oh no, I can't have other people do that. It's very odd. And then there was a whole thing with her being slightly ashamed of her body because of all the tattoos. There was a whole thing about that, which I kind of thought, oh, maybe they're going down the psychological route, that maybe she's got some sort of hang up about nudity or something like that. And it just that just vanished. It just disappeared. Yeah. Well, it's kind of one of those films you almost wish someone had just been a bit either more cruder or more invested in just one character rather than just trying to do this weird ensemble thing.
Well, I do wonder how much of it was kind of, well, we've got these ideas, but that's going to have to go. That's going to have to go because, as you just said, if we put that in, that's an instant X. And if we do that, that might get us a hard R, and things just got pruned back. I think there's probably a lot to that. Yeah. I imagine, Channing Tatum was a male stripper in Tampa. I bet he's got some wilder tales than what we saw on the screen.
Yeah, well, I think that goes.
I bet there's some crazy stories that could have been in this script.
Yeah, I think you're right. I also think it's kind of interesting because the whole thing of him being an 18-year-old stripper, and then they make a point of saying that the Alex Pettyfer character, is 19 and he shouldn't even be on the stage because he looks 20, and it's like, well, is there something to that? You've made a point of mentioning it. You've brought it up. That's a plot point right there. There's conflict right there, and you could have had all sorts of stuff going on between Mike and Dallas about bringing the kid on board has caused upheaval, but again, it just kind of just stops. It just goes, well, that's a thing that happened, but it don't matter because here's another problem, and that don't matter either. So yeah, I think disappointing rather than disliked. I think overall,
yeah, I think so.
It's a good film, but it's just not a film. I don't know what. It almost feels like the first draft. It could have been another draft of this film, and it just where they kind of focus in on something a bit more, regardless of what it was. But anyway, right. Well, that's that. Overall, kind of wobbly hands, slight thumbs up. Pardon the pun. And right. So now it's time for us to wrap it up. Tell you what film we're doing next week, and then the other guys can tell you all about their other wares. And so next week, we had this on the docket already, but it turns out that one of the stars actually died not a week ago. So it's like, oh, okay. Now it looks like a tribute. but it wasn't. That wasn't our plan at all. So what we're going to do is we're going from one kind of version of mad toxic masculinity to another version of mad toxic masculinity in form of war, in the form of Full Metal Jacket. Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, which stars Matthew Modine and, oh God, my brain has just gone completely.
Arlie Emery.
Yeah, Arlie Emery. As the sergeant, the quite insane sergeant major. And, of course, who's the other guy?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's it, Vincent D'Onofrio. That's the one.
Corporal. Not
Pyle.
Corporal.
Private Pyle.
Private Pyle, yeah.
So, I've only seen this once and half of it again. So, I've seen once all the way through. and I've seen half of it a second time. I'm kind of interested to watch it now and see how it plays out. What about you, Dal? Have you seen this before?
I've seen it a few times, yeah.
Okay, you looking forward to watching it again?
Definitely.
Okay, because I found it quite a hard watch last time. But anyway.
It is, I suppose it can be. Me, personally, I love this structure and what it does with itself. And
cool. Okie dokie. What about you, Jim? Have you seen this before?
I've seen it many times over the years.
Okie dokie.
I've not seen it for a while, actually.
Going to be
It's one of those films that got watched a lot in the 90s and early 2000s, and then I've not seen it for quite a while now, so it'd be interesting to go back after having a good break from seeing it.
Okie dokie. And what about you, Elton?
I've seen it 2-3 times, maybe.
Okay.
And I've enjoyed it more each time.
Interesting. Okie dokie. Cool. Well, so there you go. So next week, Full Metal Jacket. I don't know, but I've been told. Yeah. I've been told. Yeah, and we're going to find out who comes from Texas. Is it Texas or Kansas?
Yeah, it can be any, because he just picks on.
Yeah.
The only things that come. Hold on, no, that's.
I like you. You can come up and fuck my sister, or something like that, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Hold on, isn't that? What's that? An Officer and a Gentleman. With
What's
that,
that?
there's only two things that come out of Texas.
I don't know.
And he does it with he picks on somebody else, and they come from somewhere completely different. He says there's only two things that come out of there.
Yeah. I don't know. Or that could be Hot Shots, for all we know. Right, okay. Well, clearly we haven't seen this for a very long time, so we'll be interested to watch it next week. Okay, so before we go, Jim, do you want to tell everyone about where you are with Hypnagoria this week?
This week I am taking a look at a film on Netflix from the director of Wreck called Veronica, which has got a fair bit of buzz as so-called the scariest film on Netflix. And this weekend, unless I change my mind, I'm taking a look at a book that came out at the end of last year called Paperbacks from Hell. An epic work looking at the rise and fall of the pulp horror novel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guy N. Smith going to be in there?
Oh, he's in there. James Herbert and many, many more.
Sean Hudson. Got to be a Sean Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's most of my mid-'80s horror reading, I think, done there. Right, okay. So, and what about you, Elton?
You can catch me and Andy Plastides on the From the Earth to the Moon podcast. We're almost at the very end of this run now, which is nice to get it all wrapped up.
Nice.
And the Grand Prix podcast, because we've got a new race this weekend, and you can catch all of that over at road2media.com. I've been a bit lax on the Shonky Lab front, but that will be addressed very, very soon. That's for various reasons I might go into on the next show, I might not go into. So just stand by your dials for that later on.
Okie dokie. And yes, of course, you can see my work on Instagram, which has been a bit dead at the moment, which is at Cartoon Beardy. But also, if you go over to Patreon, which is patreon.com/blackdogpodcast, and drop us a little donation, keep the lights on and the things running, you can get, as of next Tuesday, you will be able to get not only a new poster, but also, Full Metal Jacket. Yep, cheers.
On Prime.
Oh, it's on Amazon. It's on Netflix as well.
No, it's not. I've just checked. It's not on Netflix. It's
on Prime. Okay, fine. Sorry. It's on Prime, ladies and gentlemen. But not only can you hear us on you can not only do you get a poster on Patreon, which has one of our quotes on it, which is usually pretty funny. I try and pick ones that make us laugh. But you also get a podcast, which we release once a month. And this month, we will be putting on there me and Darren in the pub reviewing Rampage. So next Tuesday you'll get two podcasts essentially. You'll get the Black Dog as per normal, and then the Patreon one for all you lovely Patreons out there who support us and it'll be me and Darren. We do a bit of news, don't we? We do a little prediction.
We do a little prediction, yeah.
Yeah, we do a couple of predictions for Avengers. There may even be an Avengers podcast as well, a spoiler one, if it's so good or so bad that we feel like talking about it.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes and who's seen it by when and whether or not we can be bothered. So, thank you very much to everyone who supports us on Patreon, as ever. Thank you especially to Sarah, who paid enough to basically give us Magic Mode to watch. And we'll have another Patreon supported film next month. So, just leaves me to say thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Jim.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Elton. And we'll see you all next week. Until then, tatty bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.